as you can see, ladies and gentlemen, it is an absolute spectacular day here in Chicago for the third annual Chicago Street Race. Hello, friends. Dalton, Hopkins, Bryan, Timothy, Dale, Nolen here with you in downtown Chicago. And Dalton, once again, it never gets old here. For the third time in a row, Chicago is hosting the street race, and this should be an incredible day.
It's such a beautiful venue. It honestly is. I mean, I've been saying it for the last 2 years. You can see it on TV as well, but I honestly don't think it does it justice. I mean, walking, the experience has been incredible. Walking to and from, just being able to walk to and from our hotel to the racetrack and just hearing the roar of the cars reverberate off of the skyscrapers you can see behind us. It is a spectacular venue. It's so beautiful. Even if we don't come back here next year, I still hope that we get the same kind of vibe and we can all remember this race being just fantastic, just a wonderful venue.
For Trey Lau, reverberate means roar, and so I know he doesn't know big words, so shout out to you, Trey. I love you, buddy. But yesterday we had Cup Series practice and qualifying. We'll get to that in a little bit. Let's talk about the Xfinity race, because as we all imagine, it was between two fantastic-looking cars, that is, the 9 and the 88. Connor Zilisch and Shane Van Gisbergen. It all went down to the final restart. I don't think it was NASCAR overtime, but I think it was 2 laps to go. A little bit of a little move heading into one. It ended up being SVG. Now, SVG, his cool suit failed, and it was blowing hot air. He received multiple trips to the infield care center. Didn't even do a press conference because he was so sick. I did see on Twitter on Sunday morning that he is fine, ready to go. He will be using a different cool suit that will work because it's different cars. So, with that being said, not a surprise there. Your thoughts on that? And then you talked with a plethora of underdogs who had some great finishes. What did they have to say as well?
Yeah, first SVG. I think it's a testament to how good he is. I'm going to talk him up. I'm sorry, I talk him up a lot, but I think it's completely justified. You can physically see how much better he is at these races than most of the NASCAR field. I mean, we saw it yesterday. Pulled away, even on old tires, he was still pulling away. Yes, had a little run-in with Connor Zilisch in turn 1, but I think that's just part of racing, and he's learned that. And then, not to mention, the cool suit failing. That cool suit failed probably, I think it was with, around 20 laps to go, something around.
Just after the second stage.
Just after the second stage. Listen, folks at home, it is so hot. It is so hot out here.
It's like 11 a.m. when we're recording, and there's all parts of my body.
We're already sweating so bad. So the thing is that it is so hot. I mean, I think it was probably around 95 degrees yesterday. To know that there was a driver in those cars, which is probably, I gotta imagine the temp was probably up to around 140, 150, because it was just so hot in those fire suits without a cool suit on, and he was still able to power through that and win the race. I think it's a testament to how talented and how dedicated SVG is, and I expect a lot more of the same today. And then as far as the underdog go, yes, you're right. Talked to a couple of them yesterday. Austin Green, 9th place finish, his second consecutive with Jordan Anderson Racing. I wrote a story about that. You can check that out on Frontstretch.com. And then, of course, you have Brennan Poole in 10th position, another top 10 for Alpha Prime Racing. They're having a wonderful season. So is Brennan Poole. And then, how about Alex LeBay finishing in 12th? How about that crazy Canadian coming back and then getting another pretty solid finish for SS Greenlight Racing, qualified 14th, finished 12th. I mean, I'd like to see him in more road course races, because every time he comes here, he puts on a really good show. Just fantastic run for that team.
He did confirm to Frontstretch that he will be running next week in Sonoma, so we'll see him there as well. Before all of this happened, it was Cup Series practice and qualifying. We saw a lot of people get into the tire barriers. We saw a very, very surprising DNQ in Corey Heim. Catherine Legg makes the show. Corey Heim does not. Not a good start for 2311, and a very, very bad day for Denny Hamlin. What stood out to you in Cup Series practice and qualifying?
Definitely the exclusion of Corey Heim, as you already mentioned, but you did already mention that, so I'll pick another story. And you know who I looked at? I feel like not a lot of people put a lot of focus on was Will Brown. That 13 car qualified pretty well, had some decent practice runs, but if you can remember, I seem to recall SVG qualifying not on the pole in 2023 here, but at least, so I think it was around 3rd. I think it was in the top 5. Will Brown pretty close to that. I think he's still in the top 10. I'll have to look at it again, but still a solid run for him. I would not be surprised if we see him up in the front later on today. And then, of course, you know who else I'm looking at? Chris Buescher in the 17.
Well, of course you are. Of course you are.
I know the joke, but I can't stop. I can't help it, because he's so good at these road course races. He's got a better average finish than SVG does. So I think it's completely reasonable to think that maybe he's got a shot today.
Last but not least, you see that right up there? You see that, Dalton?
Mm-hmm.
That's a dark cloud. You know what that means?
It means the sun is finally behind a cloud, and it's not 95 degrees outside.
It also means the dreaded R word for the third year in a row. It is more than likely rain will be a factor here. Now, for the good part of this, the race starting 2 hours earlier than it has been in the past 2 years. So we should complete the entire race. The bad news, it could be a crew chief's nightmare. So that being said, who's your pick?
Well, I think it's really still safe, even with the rain. I already said it. I think it is still safe to pick SVG. I know it's a boring pick, but it's the safe pick. I genuinely believe that. I don't think there's anybody that can legitimately go up there and challenge him on speed alone. It's going to take some strategy. It's going to take some kind of chaotic element, because we saw him pit and go all the way to the back yesterday, and he still was able to drive up to the front and take the lead and win. So I think it's going to take a little bit more than somebody just hoping that they can outpace him. It's just not going to happen. There's going to be strategy involved and potentially some chaos element involved, which I think that right up there, the R word you just mentioned, I think that's going to be your chaos element.
And there's a plethora of different drivers going to the back of the field. All 400 Motorsports drivers going to the back of the field. Denny Hamlin's going to the back of the field after he blew up in practice before he really even got started. A bunch of big names starting from the back. It's going to be fun to watch. For all the latest, check out Dalton's articles, frontstretch.com, my videos, frontstretch.com/Frontstretch, as well as Frontstretch Plus, Frontstretch Grassroots, and Frontstretch IndyCar. Krista Hardy is in Mid-Ohio for us, getting all of that stuff. So make sure to check out all of that. For Dalton Hopkins, last but not least, I got to do my pick. I don't think it's going to be SRG. I think it's going to be Michael McDowell. He's starting second, and I think he's going to clinch his way into the field. But honestly, I hope chaos. Hope we get like a Will Brown or something.
Yeah, we'll get some kind of chaos element, I think.
Of course. So, for Dalton Hopkins, I am Bryan Timothy Dale Nolen. Signing off. We'll talk with you after the race here from downtown Chicago.
My Place Hotels is proud to be the official hotel partner of Frontstretch. With plush beds, in-room kitchens, and pet-friendly hotels, My Place makes for the perfect pit stop when traveling. Frontstretch fans can use promo code FRONTSTRETCH to save 10% on your stay at any of our nationwide properties. Sign up for our Stay Rewarded program to get even more savings. With My Place Hotels, don't just stay rewarded.
Jared Haas with Frontstretch.com. Come back more for some great racing video content. And if you like us, don't forget to hit that subscribe button.